Yeah. It's good to be back. Happened while I was in the air. Yeah. God save the king. Okay. Later. Hey, welcome to season 3, episode 34 of Niagara 411 Live with Sterry, fueled by Gales Gas Bars, powered by WeeStreem, supported by Performance Heating and Air, as well as Verge Insurance Group here. We wake up today with a whole new world upon us. After the I guess inevitable death of Queen Elizabeth II, the end of the second Elizabethan age occurred yesterday. We're going to be talking about that and many other things as we get in. It's good to be back, and we'll talk more here at Fiddler's Poorhouse. It's just a very, very strange world that we wake up to today, and I am pleased to have been a part of the United Kingdom landscape over the last probably, what would I say, 18 days. And actually the Queen expired let's say died, I guess, while I was in the air between London and Toronto, and did not find out about this incredible historic event until I landed in Toronto yesterday. And it's a very surreal kind of situation, and we'll talk about that, and we have a lot of other things coming up for us on a very, very busy show, and it's great to be back on Niagara 411 Live with Sterry. We'll be seeing you in about 30 seconds. All right, thanks. Hey, just getting hooked up here on a, oops, I'm here, okay.
You've been away for a while, Lee,
I have been away, I forgot where my ear is, Kevin. There we go.
Tripped up by the headpiece.
Yeah. All right.
All right, welcome back, Lee. So you were in England.
Yes,
up until yesterday, and boy, what a day to leave.
Yes, I was. My wife and I have been talking about this since we got back, wondering whether it would have been better had we stayed a little bit longer, or whether it was a really good thing that we got out when we did. And I think it was probably a good thing that we got out when we did, because the traffic in metropolitan London is already nuts, and today would have been crazy. It was very surreal, Kev, when we were, as I said in the opening, we were in the air since approximately 2 p.m. United Kingdom time, which would have been like what, 9 o'clock our time here, so whatever. So we didn't know anything that was going on. And then the minute we landed in Toronto, and we were allowed to access our emails and all that stuff. Ding, 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 ding. My son was like, oh, the Queen, and how sad. And like, wow, like in the time that we left to before the time we arrived, the monarch expired at 70 years of her reign, 96 years of age, and we now have King Charles III. There's so much stuff going on. Now, that is a picture that Kevin has. Let me explain this picture to you. while you still have it up there. My wife and I just got back after many, many days, almost 3 weeks in the United Kingdom. Now, what that picture is the backyard, if you will. If you're thinking of you have a house and you look out your back door, you look out your back door window or whatever, that's what you see at the back door of Windsor Castle. All right? I took that picture a few days ago, and it is called the longest mile. Now, it is actually 3 miles. It is not just 1 mile. It is actually 3 miles. The longest walk, the longest mile. Now, if you go over to, there's a, it's hard for me to describe to you, but down there is there's a little light passage across. Yeah, Kev, you got it there.
Like at the top there, where it looks like the sun's shining.
No.
More like this area.
Way back, right there.
Okay.
That path right there. If you walk to the left down that path, that is where Wills and Kate live. That is where Prince William and Kate and their 2 kids live, through that brush to the left. You can't see the house. Now come back to the, okay. Now if you go all the way down that 3 mile road up to where the sun shines, you'll see a road just before you get to those big mountains on the other side. That is where Sir Elton John lives. Okay? He is not inside the palace grounds, but beyond that road, he has a huge 700-acre estate. And that is where Sir Elton John, to this day, lives. And that's where we were standing. Behind me, as I was taking that picture, is Windsor Castle, which was, there it is, which was to be the Queen's permanent home when she came back. She always summers and vacations at Balmoral in Scotland. She has done for probably the entire length of her reign. And that's where she was when she unfortunately passed away. But she was destined to return to that castle, which is Windsor, which was her favorite, other than Balmoral, to spend the rest of her reign. She did not like Buckingham Palace. A lot of monarchs did not like Buckingham Palace. There were only a couple of monarchs actually that enjoyed it. That's Windsor. Charles II was one. I really do not know whether Charles III, previously known as Prince Charles, likes Buckingham Palace or not, in spite of the fact that he grew up there. But it was amazing that we had an opportunity to be there and witness some of the things. Now, as I said, she was in Balmoral, and where she used to go around in her Land Rover with her kerchief over her face and her welly boots, and she used to talk to the animals, etc., which is where she really liked to be, and was destined to be back in Windsor Castle to spend the rest of her days. She was not going to go back to Buckingham Palace. So that's Windsor. Those are some of the shots that I took when we were there over the last week, and it was just kind of surreal that we were in the air when the Queen passed. We took a couple of tours, and one of the tour guides in particular said, "Oh, she's fine. Like I've spent 30 years in the Queen's presence, and it's only a mobility issue." And she was in denial, obviously, And 2 days prior, that's me in front of Windsor. 2 days prior to the Queen's passing, of course, the new Prime Minister, Liz, had shaken her hand and Liz Truss was given a mandate to start a new government, a new parliament in London, in England, in the UK, and it was just so surreal to see the Queen shaking hands with Liz Truss, and then 2 days later she's dead. Yeah, that's me a little bit underdressed with. Yeah.
Did you get them to blink?
No, they don't blink. They don't even know you're there. These guys, they're so well trained, and I would have liked his feet to be a little more straight, though. I just thought the feet were a little goofy. You know, I thought I don't know. If you got the hat, you got to have the straight feet. But anyway.
And Lee, I mean, no rest for the wicked. I mean, they just keep moving forward. And today, no longer Prince Charles. What are we calling him now? Is it
King Charles III? And all the time we were traveling over there, we were inundated with history about Charles I, Charles II, and who was the son of Charles I, and then the lineage. And they didn't have to change his name. A number of monarchs have had to change their names to account for the lineage, the blood lineage, as things play out. But not this one, in the fact that he was named Charles, and I believe that Queen Elizabeth and her husband Philip named Charles for this express reason, that he would be the next monarch of the Charles line, and he must be absolutely, in spite of the fact that you have to be sad that your mom has passed. All of us never like to see the passing of our mothers, but his long-awaited, I guess, reward for being his what he's done over the years is he is now King Charles III. And Kevin, I know you are not a monarchist, and I kind of am not as well, but I still recognize the history, especially after what I've been through over there. The history is almost impossible to wrap your head around. Now, and I know it's not political relevant. It's not world relevant. The monarchy is a great topic of debate as to whether it's relevant at all, except for the fact that it is a world-renowned tradition that we have to recognize has existed. Yeah. And I know you're not a monarchist. I get it.
The Queen was somebody that I think was universally respected around the world,
yes.
And I don't think we could say that for King Charles. And I think in probably the next decade, we'll see the significance of the monarchy kind of spiral into insignificance.
I totally agree with you.
And with the next generation, I don't know that there's a connection between millennials and a monarchy.
I totally agree with you. Now, let's move on a little bit. I would like to thank Dave Burrows, as well as Jessica Wilson, for sitting in for me over the last couple of weeks that I've been away. I know the first week we sort of preempted the show because Kevin was on vacation as well. But we had a couple of shows where we had some sit-in, fill-ins, and I really do appreciate them for coming in. Dave Burrows traveling all the way down from Sarnia, where I lived and worked in radio, actually, for a number of years. But anyway, Dave came down, which is about a 3 or 4 hour trip. Appreciate that. And Jessica Wilson, just a wonderful local singer, actress, entertainer, and she just did a fabulous job here last week filling in on the show. So I really want to thank them for doing that. Coming up in the program today, in just a few minutes, we're going to have a lady joining us by the name of Jessica James. She is the mom of 14-year-old Layla Travers. Now, Layla's been missing for about 11 days. As of September 29th. She's run away before, but the thing is, we don't want to take that for granted or dismiss that as something that's irrelevant to this story. Empire Homes and Robbins in Port Robinson is the area that she lived in and was last seen in. And we're just, our hearts go out to Layla and her family, and we're going to talk to her mom, Jessica, in just a few minutes. Coming up at 12:40 today, Maddi Leblanc is going to be joining us. She's in Poland, as a matter of fact. There she is. And she is participating in the World Stand-Up, I want to say this correctly, Paddle Board Championships. Who knew Kevin, who knew there was such a thing as the World Paddleboard Championship?
You know what? We'll make a competition out of anything. So somebody said, let's race these things, and now there's a World Championship.
Yeah.
And on Team Canada, Welland's own Maddi Leblanc.
And who knew it would happen in Poland?
She's joining us live from Poland.
Crazy.
20-25 minutes.
Yeah. And there are, in every aspect of the Canadian Armed Forces, there are cadets, meaning young people that are kind of learning their way toward the military, but in a fun sort of volunteer way. There are air cadets, and in this case, sea cadets. The Niagara Sea Cadets is a long-standing organization that we have a bit of a connection with. I have to grant you this and admit the fact that a fellow that we meet here from time to time at Fiddler's Poorhouse, which I'm sorry, I neglected to mention at the beginning of the show that we are doing this from Fiddler's Poorhouse on St. Paul Street in St. Catharines. And Wayne runs parking lots around here. He sort of manages parking lots in Niagara. And his daughter is part of this organization, and we thought, well, hey, why don't we talk about this group? Because this could be pretty darn cool. And these are things you don't hear about. You don't know exist until you're part of the organization. So the Niagara Sea Cadets are coming in here at about 1 o'clock today to talk about what they do so that you know how you can perhaps support this organization. And it's a pretty cool thing. I remember when I was back in British Columbia, I was invited by the Air Cadets of that area to take a trip up in a glider because, I supported, as the manager of a media company, I said, yeah, I think this is great for you and the kids and the families to do. And they said, well, because you support us, why don't you come out and participate in one of these things? I said, oh, that'd be awesome, because I love planes and flying and stuff. So they put me up in a glider and they sent me up, and it was pretty amazing. So these people do the same thing on the water. These people do the same kind of things for boats and sailing and sea cadets, and these are the future people of your armed forces and your supportive volunteer agencies. So Niagara Sea Cadets coming up at about 1 o'clock, and also a little bit after that, we will bring you Bertha Powers. She is office manager of Meals on Wheels, and this is a this is an initiative that has been going on for many, many years, and many, like all around the world. Meals on Wheels is a well-known, you've heard of it before, it's a well-known organization, but as all things do, they fall on hard times. And we all could use some more support, as could Meals on Wheels in Thorold and St. Catharines. So we're going to be talking to Bertha Powers about that. And it's really not a big deal for you to help, but all they need is drivers and just a little bit more of volunteer assistance. We're going to talk to her about that come about 1:50.
And Lee, then we could have kind of King Charles III on right at 1 o'clock, right? He's expected to address, I guess, the nation, but I mean, this will be worldwide. It's hard
for us. Oh, have you noticed this? Last week, if you noticed, because I was watching this from England, Kevin.
I know.
The lovely Jessica Wilson had a wonderful Manhattan on the table with a little bit of lime, etc. So I thought, well, if she can do it, I can invite my friend Johnny Walker to join the party, because I didn't want her to be upstage or anything. So that's what that. So how were the last 3 weeks, Kevin? How you been? WeeStreem, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kevin Jack, our executive producer, who has done a fabulous job of keeping this ship going while I've been away.
Yeah, it's been fun, Lee. It was nice having Jessica and David just bring a little bit of a flavor to the program, but very happy to have you back. WeeStream's been busy. Next week we're in Markham. We're doing a big 2-3 day thing there. Down the road we got all kinds of stuff cooking, but if you need a live or a hybrid streamed event, whatever it is, make sure to get in touch with WeeStream. But Lee, we are so jam-packed on the program today. That's all the time I want to take, because I want to see if we can help find Layla here.
Yeah. Jessica James is the mom of Layla Travers. 11 days missing now. Hi, Jessica. How you doing?
I'm okay. Thank you.
I'm assuming you're just okay. Can you walk us back 11 days ago and walk us up to now as to what you've been going through?
Well, it's been a lot. It's been hard. There's the sleepless nights, there's wondering, worrying, concern, searching. We've been on the road ourselves, looking, talking to friends and family members who love and miss Layla so much. It's heartbreaking. It's heart-wrenching. Everything that's been happening, it seems like just a whirlwind.
Jess, when was the last time you saw your daughter?
I seen her August 28th at nighttime, right before bed. And that was
in your home?
In our home, yes.
So as far as you were concerned, she was going to bed for the night?
She was going to bed for the night, yes. That's, we locked up the home and went to bed, and the next morning, her sister found that she was gone.
Had her bed been slept in?
Yeah, and she left in the middle of the night.
Now, she had been, correct me if I'm wrong, please, but she had been known to have run away or gone away before on previous occasions. Is that correct?
That's right. So unfortunately, mental health is something that takes some time to work through. And there has been instances in the past, very short instances, where she's gone to a friend or left. And this, unfortunately, over the past, month has just been completely different and very upsetting, I guess, for everybody.
What is Layla's history with you as a child growing up with these challenges? What Give us a sense of who Layla is, if you can.
Sure. I don't want to get emotional.
I'm sorry, sweetheart.
Layla is.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. I'm sorry.
Layla is a wonderful, amazing, articulate, beautiful girl. And
It's okay. Take your time. It's all right.
we just miss her so much.
Yeah.
We're so worried about her. You know, she's a good student. She's a good friend. She's an amazing daughter and sister. And, you know, we just are so worried about her and want her to come home.
What do you? I'm not trying to make you cry, dear.
I
But
understand.
but I understand we all can relate to what you're experiencing.
Right.
Yeah. So now there is a connection with the Empire Homes in Port Robinson. What is that connection, Jess?
We just live nearby there.
Okay.
We live nearby there, and that was the area in which she left from.
So that was the last place she was seen?
Yes, but there has been some reports, although I've not been able to confirm, that she may be in the Niagara Falls area, that she may be in the area of Victoria Street in Niagara Falls near the library, that she may have been seen around there. She is with another boy, and we're just so concerned for her being out here every night alone.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure how to pursue this conversation, because we're all so upset along with you on this. On the other times that she has left or run away, how has that come up? Like, how has that ended? How have the other situations come to resolve themselves? I guess I'm asking you. Like,
it's usually ended very quickly, within a day. We found her with a friend. She's gone to a friend's that we know, and we're able to locate her.
Well, I think you've muted yourself there, Jessica.
Jess, did you mute yourself, hon?
I'm not sure what happened there.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get her back. All of a sudden, Jessica, we just lost your audio. There you go. Yeah, try that. Yeah, we're still getting nothing there, Jess. Maybe do you want to just disconnect and then reconnect? See if that works for us.
I don't want to.
Never really seen that one before. Yeah, so I mean, Lee, this is just a heart-wrenching case.
Oh, I'm heartbroken for this mom who has obviously had a challenge raising this young woman for years, and I can't imagine the pain and the. There's Layla Travers. That's the young lady that's missing. 14 years of age, and of course she looks like every parent's daughter, but she obviously has the issues that she's dealing with. And Jessica, to her credit, took the stressful path of showing up on this show with us today, because it was only a few days ago that they announced that she's been missing for 11 days. And
in the comments of Niagara 411, and people can be so insensitive in the comments.
Oh, Kevin!
Insinuating that because she's run away in the past, that it's of less significance. And I don't understand that mentality. And you see, we're just getting Jessica back on now. I mean, you can see in Jessica's face, you can hear in her voice the heartache that she's going through. I mean,
these things,
it's real.
These are the things in social media that drive me crazy, is the fact that since she's done this before, it is irrelevant. Nobody cares anymore. Well, it's just another day in the life of somebody that doesn't give a crap about how they live and blah blah, and it's totally an anathema to me. And the one thing that I came back with after 3 weeks of traveling in the United Kingdom, Wales, Scotland, England, etc., is the fact that people are people no matter where you go. No matter their color, no matter their creed, no matter their religion, no matter their politics, everybody is a person that deserves a place on this planet, and we ran into amazingly wonderful people. Jessica, welcome back. I'm sorry that we lost you there, love.
Thank you.
And I say love because everybody calls everybody love in England, and I just got back from there, and it's become sort of a thing. Hello, love, But aside from that, one of the things that I asked you before we lost our contact with you is the fact that Layla has run away before, and we were in the midst of that conversation. How have you found her? How is this different? And how should we think of it this time? Can you wrap your head around what I'm asking you?
Yeah. So in the past, as I mentioned, it's been very, very different. She's gone to a friend, someone that we know. She's been found very quickly. We've been able to locate her through social media. And this time is very different. She's not with anybody that we know. She's not with anyone that we know to be safe. She's alone, and it's been a long time. And this time is different because this is not. It's escalated, and it's concerning about what she might run into. She's very young, and I think there's a lot of dangers out there that she's not aware of.
Okay, can you give us a clear perspective of what her, for the lack of a better word, disability is?
I think she right now is not fully diagnosed because of her age, but it's an emotional instability and mental health issues that causes her to act impulsively and not foresee dangers, and given her age as well, it's sort of a combination of all of that.
Now, were you getting along well at home?
We get along really well at home. We have regular teenage sort of issues, issues with grounding and phone time and things like that. But Layla is a wonderful child to have, and this is just a challenge that we have to overcome.
Does she have a dad in the picture?
She does have a dad. He's not so much in the picture, but she does have contact with him.
Okay. Has that avenue been pursued?
We have pursued that avenue. She has reached out to her father, and he understands that he's to reach out to the police if she comes, but unfortunately he's living in BC, so it's not where she's readily available to go.
Right.
We've exhausted all options. Anybody, friends of friends, acquaintances. I myself have driven through cities, all over the city of Welland, Niagara Falls, St. Catharines. We've handed out flyers that we're printing off, taking to businesses. We're talking to people on the streets. I mean, we're pulling out all the stops to find Layla.
Okay, so let me ask one more time. When was the last documented moment that anyone saw Layla?
I don't know that there's been a confirmed sighting because I don't have that information, but there has been information coming back, trickling in. I've heard from some other people who've reached out to me within the past week, last Thursday.
Okay.
Can I ask here, Lee? I mean,
Yeah.
11 days. This is different than the other times that Layla's run away or gone missing. Are you concerned for her well-being? Do you think she's safe?
I don't think she's safe. As I mentioned, this is different. This is not, a teenager who's run away to a friend's house. This is someone who is missing. She's on the streets, likely somewhere. I'm so concerned for her well-being. We love and miss her, and we want her to come home and know that she can, no matter the circumstance. We just want her to come home where it's safe.
We feel so sorry for you, Jessica. Please, anybody, what's the easiest way, if anybody has anything to say or help or do or whatever? How do we find you? What's the best? What do you want us to do, love?
I mean, I want you to call 911 if you see her. I want you to call 911, take a photo, give it to them, tell them where she is. If she's somewhere, call me. I would come at any time. Call me and tell me where she is. My number is posted on the Niagara 411 listing. You can call me anonymously. You don't have to say who you are. You can email me, anything. Just, when you see her, I want someone to call right away so that she doesn't slip through.
Can I ask you a really tough question, Jessica?
Sure.
Does she want to be with you?
I believe that she does. And I think that there's outside factors that are confusing her right now, that are encouraging her. And I think that, she's been gone for this long, and I think that she's maybe scared to come back, or I'm not sure. But
okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes.
God bless you. I hope Layla and you are reunited comfortably soon, and we really appreciate you being with us here today. Thanks, Jessica.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
So many families are struggling through things, Kevin. Wow. Can't imagine.
No,
Okay, coming up at 12:40, which may be actually almost here, is Maddi Leblanc. She is going to be joining us from Poland, as a matter of fact. And she is with Team Canada, there she is, in the World Stand-Up Paddleboard Championship. Now, first of all, who knew that there was a paddleboard championship or race at all, anywhere? Second of all, who knew there was a Team Canada paddleboard group? And thirdly, who knew they were getting together in Poland, of all places? So, Kevin, this is sort of an epiphany for us. And there she is with a Team Canada shirt and all the rest of it, and lovely curly blonde Maddi Leblanc. How the heck are you? Welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me today.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
Believe me, it is our honor. Now, I'm not going to do any more of an intro than I already did, except to ask you, what are you doing there?
I'm here competing on behalf of Team Canada at the World SUP Paddleboard Championships hosted by the International Federation. So I'm really excited. I'm supposed to be racing tomorrow, and that's what I'm doing here in Europe. Hopefully making my country proud.
All right, Maddi, like Kevin and I were talking about this earlier. We had no idea that paddleboarding was a competitive sport. We always thought it was just sort of like this Zen thing where you go out and you do a little bit of, this to get rid of your anxiety and just come to peace with the world. And you guys have turned it into a race. When did this happen?
Oh gosh, stand-up paddleboard racing has actually been around for quite a while.
Yeah.
But I've only been racing competitively for about 6 years, so I'm still actually fairly new to the sport. There's still a lot that I have to learn myself as someone who's kind of coming almost into the sport as a professional. I'm semi-pro right now.
You're semi-pro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, how does that work? How does the whole sport work? Walk us up from when you started to where you are now.
Absolutely. So, I mean, it's kind of funny how you're saying, like, when you associate paddleboarding, you think of it as zen and calm and relaxing, and that's how I started paddleboarding. I started it very leisurely, and I also started it to create a fundraiser in honor of two friends that I lost in cancer. So for me, paddling was just a way of coping with the world and coping with like very hard things that happened to my community. And I very quickly learned after hosting 2 years of this paddleboard fundraiser for brain cancer, one of my sponsors came up to me and said, "Maddi, like, did you know you could race these things?" And I was like, "What? No, I had no idea." And in high school and like growing up, I was always that kid that just like, I wanted to try everything. I wanted to try every sport. So the second I heard you could race them, I immediately was like, okay, when's the first race? Like, throw me in. I'm ready.
I'm in. Yeah. So where are you from? Where were you born?
I was born in Welland, Ontario.
Welland. Well, that's why we call this Niagara 411 Live. That is awesome. Now, how long did you live in Niagara?
Oh gosh, I've been in Niagara mostly for my whole life. Okay. Last year I lived in Tofino for about 3 months just to get some ocean paddling experience. I learned very quickly that if I wanted to become a pro in the sport, I needed to get some ocean experience.
Yeah, indeed.
So I lived
Tofino out on Vancouver Island is the place, right?
That's correct. It's literally Canada's surf capital. It is beautiful and stunning out there. I loved it.
Gorgeous, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So then where do you go? Walk us along the line. You got this bug, and you did the sort of amateur stuff. Then what happened?
Yeah. So I guess my first race was back in 2016. It was a 1 kilometer loop. And it was so funny. My mom and we drove to Barrie to do that race.
Barrie?
And she's like, "Really, Maddi?" We drove to Barrie. So we paddled like Simcoe. And she looks at me at the end of the race. She's like, "Really, Maddi?" We drove like 2.5 hours to paddle 11 minutes. But we joke about it now that it was enough to get me hooked for the rest of my life. So that was kind of the start. And then in 2017, I won the overall open women's championship category with the Ontario SUP series. So
awesome.
Only paddling for like 2 years after that, I was like, okay, I must be good at this, And then in 2018, I then won the next category up with the Ontario SUP series, so the elite women category field. And I couldn't believe it. All I did was go up one more field and I won that too. And I just, again, told myself, hey, I must be pretty good at this. And in December of 2018, that's when I was scouted out by Starboard, who is now my main paddleboard sponsor. So I've been with them. This December will be about 5 years that I've been sponsored and been paddling for them. And I've just been working my way up.
Is that how you make the lion's share of your living? Is by sponsorship? Because I mean, I can't see this like world tennis or world golf or something like that as being able to make you a lot of money. So is sponsorship in these kind of events how you make a living?
Yes and no. That's why I'm semi-sponsored, because I have like Starboard. They're so good to me. Like they get me gear. Like even here in Poland, they shipped a board for me from their headquarters in Thailand to be able to compete here and race. But SUP it's still a growing sport. It's very small right now. Like you said in this interview, like not a lot of people even know that you can race paddleboard.
Exactly.
So we're not quite at that level yet.
So when you travel, do your sponsors pay for that, or is that on your own dime?
Most of it actually still is on my own dime. So, yeah, that's why I'm hoping to just keep working my way up the ladder. And if I do really well and win more bigger international competitions, then I could get that form of sponsorship.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of right now, I'm in the middle. I'm not down here anymore.
While I have you here, Maddi, I would like to give you the opportunity to thank people that have supported you, and you have the full stage right now to name names and people that are supportive, etc. And I want to give you that opportunity because I know athletes in your position do struggle for sponsorship, and they do struggle for finances, and it's a lifelong effort to be able to support yourself. So if you have anybody you want to thank or give acknowledgement to, please do so now.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much actually for that. Well, I guess first and foremost, my family and my friends, like mom and dad, brother and sister, like everyone. You guys have always been my number one team from day one, from first 11-minute race. I love you all, and I wouldn't be here and chasing my dreams if it wasn't for all of you supporting me.
Yeah.
So thank you to them, and thank you to Women Networking in Sports of Niagara. They recently actually gave me a grant about a month ago at their annual Amazing Race event that happens in Welland at Sports Bar, and that grant alone funded me to get here, to get to Worlds this year, and
Wonderful.
that wouldn't have even have been possible. And I've recently as well been dealing with a pretty gnarly knee injury, so I would love to shout out.
A knee injury?
Yeah, I have a sprained ACL. I have a partially thick medial meniscus tear and a bone bruise bilateral meniscus. So, yeah, that's why, like, I was supposed to compete in the distance race today, but I said no. I backed out. Conditions are like, we have 5-foot waves here today. The wind is blowing. I'm like, no, I can't do it with my knee right now, but I'm hoping for calmer conditions tomorrow so I can race.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would also just love to say thank you to Andy Troy, Emily Yuns, and everybody else back at home, my athletic therapist in Cairo, that have been helping me get through this injury. So thank you all so much, because, again, I wouldn't even be here without you guys. So thank you.
Maddi, if there's any young person, be they male, female, whatever, that are kind of inspired by this conversation, how do you get started in this paddle board competition? Because like Kevin and I were talking about before, as I mentioned before, we just thought of paddle boarding as a recreational kind of thing, like, you know, you're going to go out and kayak, or you're going to go out and swim, or paddle board or whatever, to kind of spend some time. How do they get to be you?
Oh man, well, it's it's been a long 6 years. Like it's been quite the journey. Lots of hard work, lots of sacrifices too to be an elite athlete. But I would say, if anybody's like watching at home, locally, I guess to Niagara, like there's a series called the Ontario SUP Series,
right.
And that's where my journey began in racing. Kids, I believe it's about 13 and under, get to race for free. So if they are interested, they can just sign up for a race, and it doesn't even cost them anything, and you can just kind of try it out, see if you like it.
How do they do that? Where do they go?
Yeah, so the series is called the Ontario SUP Series. So there's like a website, all of the information about the series is there.
Okay.
They're on Instagram. They have a Facebook page. Like all the information is online. So
okay.
you can contact them there.
All right. So before we say goodbye, what is next for you? What's your next few days? What's happening?
Yeah, so I mean, if conditions are okay tomorrow, then I hope to race. If they're not, then unfortunately I'm not medically clear to paddle in anything rough. So there may be a small chance that I don't compete, but I'm very competitive. So I really
So what's up for grabs?
Tomorrow.
What's the championship prize? What's up for grabs here? I
can't remember. There is prize money, win prize money. But but I think it's in like euros or whatever the Polish dollar is here. Like,
so you just you just want to compete. You don't care what you win. You just want to compete.
Yeah, I just
that's
love
awesome.
SUP that much.
Because if it was me, I'd want to know what I would want to know what I was going to win but you don't even care.
No, a small part of me cares, but that's money.
Awesome.
It's not why I'm here. It's just paddling.
We love you. We love you. We love you. How do you like Poland?
Oh gosh, I love it. It's beautiful. Like honestly, today has been the worst day, like weather-wise, out of our whole time here so far. Like we've been here for almost a week. But other than that, like the Baltic Sea is stunning. The people are so friendly. Like the food is great. Like, oh my gosh, best pasta I've had in my life. What's
your favorite food that you've had?
Pierogies. They make really good pierogies here.
That's awesome.
Lee, I just want to hop in here just for a second before we let Maddi go. I'm just getting some text messages here from my wife, and I'd be remiss if I didn't bring it up.
Sure. Your wife takes control of the show.
I don't want to end on a downer, but my wife was best friends from kindergarten with Lynn Rainville, and I know that a couple of years ago you did a paddle in her honor. She passed away far too early. She was a teacher, and I think you were one of her students, so I wanted to pass along some heartfelt thank you and gratitude for doing that and continuing to remember what the great person she was and paddling in her honor. So thank you so much, and best of luck in your race tomorrow. I know you don't care if you win, but we do. So go out there and paddle, and know that we're all rooting for you back here at home.
Oh my gosh. Well, that means the world to me. Like I think of Lynn every day. I think of her and I think of Julia every stroke I take. So thank you for saying that. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you if it wasn't for them. So
you're the best.
Thank you.
And perhaps you can join us again next week and give us a sort of a chapter and verse on your experience during the race and what you've gone through to now and beyond. We'd love to talk to you again.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Next week, if all goes to plan, I might be competing in London as well.
Okay.
So,
well, I just got back from there. Thanks, Maddi. Have a great day.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Kevin, tell us the story of this person you were talking about, because I am not aware.
Lynn Rainville was a great human. She and my wife were together since, I believe, kindergarten, so lifelong friends. Lynn went on to become a high school teacher in Welland, and unfortunately cancer took her life about 10 years ago. Far too young. She was a mother, she was a family person, and she was well loved by the community and of course her students. And I know a number of years ago Maddi did a charity paddle and raise some money in honor of sorry, Lee.
Sorry, that's okay.
In honor of,
I didn't mean to put stress on you, Kev. I apologize for that. I just was looking for a background story. That's okay, man.
No, she was loved by many, including my wife.
All right. Thank you, and thank you, Leanne, for that.
Lee, I know we got King Charles is coming up at 1:00.
Yeah, wow, Kev, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were.
No, I didn't know I was as affected either. We have time for the Porch Pirates before we get to the new king, I guess, Charles III. They're calling him.
By all means, actually, Kev.
Yeah.
I would like to take this moment in transition to once again thank our sponsors, which we have not done since the beginning of the program because we've been so full of great stuff and wonderful people. This is episode 34 of season 3 of Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry. I've been gone for 3 weeks. I would like to thank Dave Burrows coming down here all the way from Sarnia, where I had my first full-time radio job, by the way, in Sarnia, so that was kind of cool. So Dave Burrows, thank you for filling in. Jessica Wilson, a triple threat, a singer, a songwriter, actress who came down and filled in for the other time that I was away here. So thank you, Jessica Wilson, for that. You were awesome. Certainly made the program look better than me. I'll tell you that. But anyway, thank you everybody for continuing to support the program, as well as Gales Gas Bars, fueling Niagara for the last 50 plus years, as well as fueling this program. As always, we really do appreciate your support. We are also supported by Performance Heating and Air. Carlo and the gang, I know these summer days are very, very busy for you, and we're going to be talking to you, Carlo, sometime soon, I know, when things slow down a little bit. And Mark Shirk, thank you very much, and your crew at Verge Insurance Group for also supporting us. And WeeStream, powering this powerful organization. That is Kevin Jack, the co-founder of WeeStream, along with Brendan Scram, and the executive producer of this program. Kevin, we haven't had a chance to actually talk to you very much at all over the last 3 weeks, because we have been, as they say, over home, across the ditch, over the ocean, or whatever you call it. How are things going with WeeStream these days?
Things are going great. I mean, we're super busy, and now that school's back in, it gives us a little opportunity to focus more on the business. And as any entrepreneur would know, and I guess this is sage advice for any endeavor, the more you put in, the more you get out.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So things are busy, but if you need help live streaming an event, we do have municipal elections coming up in October, so if you're involved with your local chambers or what have you, and you want to have candidate debates, we're the people to talk to. We're the ones that can live stream things. And remember, if you live stream an event, it is also recorded. So it's a valuable service to the community. That's a big thing that's on the horizon. So if you are involved in your community and you are thinking about hosting a candidates debate, give us a call here at WeeStream, and we'll come make it available to everybody.
And nobody does it better than WeeStream when it comes to streaming your events and letting people know what's happening. Can you find that picture that I gave you, Kevin, about my hat when I was in Greenwich, England? My wife and I, as we've mentioned before, have been traveling in the United Kingdom. We started in Windsor, at Windsor Castle, where the Queen was destined to make her permanent home. Unfortunately, she perished at Balmoral in Scotland. Now, I'm putting this picture up there to acknowledge my friend and benefactor, Kevin Neufeld, who is the owner-operator of Beau Chapeau Hat Shop in Niagara-on-the-Lake. Now, that is the hat that I normally wear on this program, along with this one that I also purchased at Beau Chapeau, and I thought it was appropriate for today. But I found a perfect hook for my hat when I was staying in the Novotel Hotel in England, in Greenwich, and I thought, you know what, I think Kevin Neufeld would appreciate that picture as a promotion for his hat shop, because that is one lovely hat. That is the original Australian golf hat. It is submersible in water, so when you're out walking and it's hot, you just make it wet, you dunk it in the water and you squeeze it out and you put it on your head and it gets cool. And I wore that all over the United Kingdom for the last 21 days. So that's my little acknowledgement, Kevin Jack, to your friend Kevin Neufeld at Beau Chapeau Hat Shop in Niagara-on-the-Lake. So there, all across the ocean. Now, Kevin, we were supposed to, or are supposed to, and I think we do have some of our Niagara Sea Cadets coming up.
We do have them, but you know what? They're just going to help. They came down to Fiddler's Poorhouse, and we're going to hold off and chat with them in just a couple of minutes after we hear from from King Charles, who apparently is set to address.
Oh, are we going to do that? Okay, good. Because, and we did tell you, of course, I was over the ocean when coming back from London. We caught the plane at Heathrow at approximately 2 p.m. England time, London time, yesterday. And while we were in the air, the government notified the Parliament that, well, I should say the palace, the royal family, confirmed that the Queen had passed away at approximately somewhere between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m.
And this
London time.
This channel we're watching, Lee, I mean, maybe we need one of these in Ontario or Canada. It's actually the Royal Family Channel.
Oh yeah, there. Well,
it's the Royal Family YouTube channel. I mean, so there you were. That's London, I guess, proper. Right?
Oh my God, yeah.
You were just there.
I've spent so much time there, and I can recognize all those places because I have been there before. And anyway, we can let you take this away, Kevin, if you like. If there is some.
Well, I'm just waiting. You know what? I don't want to get into.
I'm just watching myself. Here's King Charles III.
In 1947, on her 21st birthday, she pledged in a broadcast from Cape Town to the Commonwealth to devote her life,
audio,
whether it be short or long, to the service of her people. That was more than a promise. It was a profound personal commitment which defined her whole life. She made sacrifices for duty. Her dedication and devotion for sovereign never wavered through times of change and progress, through times of joy and celebration, and through times of sadness and loss. In her life of service, we saw that abiding love of tradition, together with that fearless embrace of progress, which makes us great as nations. The affection, admiration, and respect she inspired became the hallmark of her reign. And as every member of my family can testify, she combined these qualities with warmth, humor, and an unerring ability always to see the best in people. I pay tribute to my mother's memory, and I honor her life of service. I know that her death brings great sadness to so many of you, and I share that sense of loss beyond measure with you all. When the Queen came to the throne, Britain and the world were still coping with the privations and aftermath of the Second World War, and still living by the conventions of earlier times. In the course of the last 70 years, we have seen our society become one of many cultures and many faiths. The institutions of the state have changed in turn. But through all changes and challenges, our nation and the wider family of realms, of whose talents, traditions, and achievements I am so inexpressibly proud, have prospered and flourished. Our values have remained and must remain constant. The role and the duties of monarchy also remain, as does the sovereign's particular relationship and responsibility towards the Church of England, the church in which my own faith is so deeply rooted. In that faith and the values it inspires, I have been brought up to cherish a sense of duty to others and to hold in the greatest respect the precious traditions, freedoms, and responsibilities of our unique history and our system of parliamentary government. As the Queen herself did with such unswerving devotion, I too now solemnly pledge myself, throughout the remaining time God grants me, to uphold the constitutional principles at the heart of our nation. And wherever you may live in the United Kingdom, or in the realms and territories across the world, and whatever may be your background or beliefs, I shall endeavor to serve you with loyalty, respect, and love, as I have throughout my life. My life will of course change as I take up my new responsibility. It will no longer be possible for me to give so much of my time and energies to the charities and issues for which I care so deeply. But I know this important work will go on in the trusted hands of others. This is also a time of change for my family. I count on the loving help of my darling wife, Camilla. In recognition of her own loyal public service since our marriage 17 years ago, she becomes my Queen Consort. I know she will bring to the demands of her new role the steadfast devotion to duty on which I have come to rely so much. As my heir, William now assumes the Scottish titles which have meant so much to me. He succeeds me as Duke of Cornwall.
Yes.
And takes on the responsibilities for the Duchy of Cornwall, which I have undertaken for more than 5 decades. Today, I am proud to create him Prince of Wales, Tywysog Cymru, the country whose title I have been so greatly privileged to bear during so much of my life and duty. With Caitrin beside him, our new Prince and Princess of Wales will, I know, continue to inspire and lead our national conversations, helping to bring the marginal to the centre ground, where vital help can be given. I want also to express my love for Harry and Meghan as they continue to build their lives overseas.
That's important.
In a little over a week's time, we will come together as a nation, as a commonwealth, and indeed a global community.
Trying to rebuild the family
to lay
here.
my beloved mother to rest. In our sorrow, let us remember and draw strength from the light of her example. On behalf of all my family, I can only offer the most sincere and heartfelt thanks for your condolences and support. They mean more to me than I can ever possibly express. And to my darling Mama, as you begin your last great journey to join my dear late Papa, I want simply to say this: thank you. Thank you for your love and devotion to our family and to the family of nations you have served so diligently all these years. May flights of angels sing thee to thy rest.
Wow. Very, very powerful, Kevin. And he has been a joke to many over the years. I never saw him that way. And if there was ever a stately way to begin a new era in the monarchy of the Commonwealth, that was a wonderful address. Now, be you a fan of the monarchy or be you not, And keep in mind, I know I come from a bit of a jaded perspective because I just spent 20 days in the United Kingdom. I went through Wales, I went through Scotland, I went through England, west to north to east, and back down to south again, and went through many, many historical spots along the way. So, and I was in the air, actually, between Heathrow and Toronto. I was over the Atlantic, about halfway over the Atlantic, when Queen Elizabeth II passed and the second Elizabethan age was extinguished, and I did not know about her death and the passing of this age until we landed in Toronto yesterday afternoon. So it was a very, very pivotal trip for me, and watching King Charles III, formerly Prince Charles and Prince of Wales, irrespective of your belief on the monarchy, this is a historical time, and having waited and breaststrokes and watched and thought about history going back more than 2,000 years, back to Bath and the Roman times, etc., and walking my way through history over the last 3 weeks, I cannot say that I'm not touched by everything that's happened over the last 24 hours. I feel privileged to have experienced it, and again, and God live the Queen and the King. Okay, coming up now, we have the Welland Canal Sea Cadets 358 that are joining us. They're actually in the house here of Fiddler's Poorhouse. Hello, ladies. How are you today?
All right. How about you?
I'm just wonderful. Now, first of all, can you introduce yourselves to me so we know who we're talking to?
Yes, my name is Meliah Brauweiler. I'm a sub-lieutenant with the unit, and this is...
I'm Caitrin Eymann. I am a petty officer first class in the unit.
Okay, sorry, first name again?
Caitrin.
Caitrin and?
Meliah.
Meliah. Caitrin and Meliah. Okay, so, first of all, lovely to see you in uniform. Everybody loves to see somebody in a uniform. It's just awesome.
It's not been a while since we've been in it, so it's exciting to be back.
Okay, tell us about the Sea Cadets and your unit.
All right, I can do that. So we're part of a larger unit called the Canadian Cadet Organization, and it's a nationwide program. So coast to coast, border to the Arctic, you can find units that are Army, Air, or Sea. We are the seaside, so we're Royal Canadian Sea Cadet Corps. There are 3 aims to the organization nationwide, which are physical fitness, citizenship, and this one I thought the older I get is actually really cool. So part of the training program we have to incorporate, or try to incorporate, is having our unit and our cadets witness people being sworn in or becoming Canadian citizens from other countries, which I thought is really cool. So citizenship, and then the final one is to generate an interest in the naval arm of the Canadian Armed Forces. Now, whether or not they go on to do that after they finished with us, it's just something that we try to promote, because there's lots of great opportunities in the Canadian Armed Forces, let alone the CCO.
Caitrin, what was your motivation for getting involved with this group?
I joined because I had another friend who joined, and my dad actually asked me if I wanted to be in it with her. And I was a very anxious and shy kid, but I said yes. And Cadets has actually helped me to get out of that shyness, but it was a interesting start.
Okay, okay, when you join the cadets, what do you actually do? how does it work? Anybody can answer. Meliah, it's fine for you.
I'm a training officer, so this is really good practice.
Yeah, okay.
So we have phases, levels. So you're in phase 1. So that's usually where we get you started. So you learn things like seamanship, and this travels through all of the phases. So you learn seamanship in all of them, but you start learning about knots and tying them in seamanship, and you can learn music. You can learn naval terminology. We start you off learning the phonetic alphabet. We teach you about drill, dress, deportment. Leadership starts around phase 3, which is, I think, probably one of the my favorite part of the program.
What is
watching kids come in and do a complete 180. When she joined, she was like a wallflower, and she's not anymore, and it's fantastic.
So it's about finding yourself, finding discipline, finding self-realization. Like how are the cadets? What is the? I guess what I'm asking is the mandate or the mantra of I mean, there's air cadets, there's sea cadets, there's what is the goal here?
The goal would be to promote and instill leadership in the youth that join our program, give them opportunities that you wouldn't see outside of the program. It's the same for all 3, realistically. So it's the same program, they just wear different uniforms, and we do different specialized training. So like you can come over to us and learn how to sail, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. I saw, I was watching a movie, actually on the plane, that I was flying back from England yesterday, and there was one scene in this movie where there's this amazing sailing scene, and it was crazy. I mean, it was a small. It wasn't a military style boat, but I mean, it was a sailboat and I thought, oh my God, so you actually learn how to be a sailor.
Yes. So we start off in little dinghies, is what they're called, echoes. And they've got 2 sails, jib sheet, which is the one in the front, and the main sheet. And then they can go on to racing pirates, I think. I wasn't particular to the sailing part when I was in cadets, because I've been in for a while.
Yeah.
I went a different route, but you can sail pirates, which are like a smaller racing style sailboat, and you learn a lot. You can sail whalers, which are these really long kind of oar, I want to call it vessels with big masts and big sails. Like there's a lot of opportunity, and it's all like what they do in the Olympics. That's what we teach sailing. So
well, I lived in Kingston for a while too, and that was where they did the qualifying for Olympic sailing is off that area, so it was pretty cool. Okay, now Caitrin, since you joined this, how has your sense of self changed, or if it has? Like, how do you feel different, or if you do, from before you joined the cadets to where you are now?
Well, as both of us have said, I was a very shy and anxious kid.
Yeah.
And I wasn't very social. I didn't know how to lift my voice up and speak out. And throughout my course of cadets, I've actually I've opened up quite a bit, and I feel like I've grown quite a bit in speaking out and helping find confidence to lead other people and to help them find out stuff that helps them grow. How
old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 16. I'm turning 17 next month.
You're just 16. Okay. Where do you want to take this? What do you want to do?
Well, I'm actually not planning to step into the actual military when I'm older, but cadets also helps you figure out, or helps you with other jobs and courses of life you want to take. I personally want to be a social worker for youth when I'm older, and a program that's centered around youth and helps teach you lead really helps you learn how to do that kind of stuff.
Okay. Do you enjoy sailing?
Not particularly. It's fun to learn, but I don't enjoy being on the water too
You
much.
don't?
No.
And you're a sea cadet.
Yes, I know.
Okay, but actually you're happy because of the life skills, obviously, that you've learned along the way.
Well, there are other parts of the program that are more universal throughout all three elements.
Yeah.
And I particularly enjoy learning how to, like, give out orders and commands on the parade deck.
Oh, okay. You
And-
like being in control, like most women I know. Sorry. I'm sorry. I know you're only 16. You'll learn.
I guess so.
You're already halfway there.
I like learning how to be in parades, and I like learning how to, like, it might not seem exciting for other people, but when you have the teachers that I did learning this stuff, they make it seem quite exciting and
I'm sure it is.
giving out.
You've got the right. You're on the right track, kid. I'm telling you. Yeah, you got it. Okay, that was wonderful, and I wish you all the success in the world. And if that's what the Sea Cadets can bring to young women and young men, is that kind of goal and that kind of self-confidence, that's wonderful. Meliah, obviously, this young lady is the sort of the poster child for what you're trying to accomplish.
Kind of.
That's true. Now, okay, so yourself, other than the Sea Cadets, what is your life? What do you do as a day job, or is this it for you?
This sometimes feels like it should be a day job, but this is only part-time for me. Full-time, I work at General Motors.
Do you?
Yeah.
In St. Catharines?
Yeah.
Wow. What do you do there?
I work in the dual clutch transmission room, the one that just opened for the C8
Yeah.
Stingray Corvette.
What? Oh, wow. Good for you. All right. So, but you seem to me born and bred for this. I mean, you look like you're meant for it. Where? How do we recruit people to be interested in wonderful organizations like this? What's in it for you? What's in it for the people that want to be involved?
Oh, well, that's a long list.
I know it's a big question. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So I was actually just talking to the PO here about this right before we came on, but something that isn't a lot well known, and something that I'm trying really hard to get out into the community to make sure that people are aware, because not only do we have to, sell the parents, but we have to make sure that the kids who come out and keep coming out and like to come out. But you can get scholarships through this program for your post-secondary education.
Excellent.
Which is awesome. Everyone can always use help that way. You can get high school credits towards your early graduation. It's nothing crazy like 2 years or anything, but I think it's something like 4 or 6 months. You can finish earlier and kind of buffer your school resume that way.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that before GM, when I got hired on at McDonald's, one of the reasons why I got hired was because she saw I was a cadet. I've been in the program for 20 years, so she saw it and she was like, all right, you're in. I don't even think I had much of an interview after that. So it's something that if an employer knows what it is, you're almost a shoo-in. So
do you feel like you're serving our country?
I think so. Developing and teaching and meeting the youth that are going to be our leaders, I think, is probably one of the most overlooked and important jobs anyone who does this kind of work does. So I'm just one of the lucky few that get to wear a uniform while I do it, and I'm
Well,
so grateful.
You look great doing it, as do you, Caitrin. Meliah and Caitrin, thank you so much for joining us and shedding some light on something that I'm sure most people in Niagara had no idea existed. So thank you very much, ladies. You've been great. I appreciate you being here.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having us.
Okay, enjoy. You're welcome. Bertha Power is on the way, Kevin, as I understand it. Is she hanging in there in the room? Okay, she's office manager of Meals on Wheels in St. Catharines. And I want to thank those ladies so much. It's just that we're running short of time and I want to move on in a hurry. Meals on Wheels, Thorold, St. Catharines. Bertha Power is the office manager of that organization. And so I'm sorry. We'll just get rid of that. Hi. Sorry, I had an influencing phone call there. Bertha, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am terrific. Thank you very much for joining us. And as I mentioned, oh, for heaven's sake, I should have shut this off. You are office manager of Meals on Wheels here in Niagara, and
Thorold, St. Catharines.
I'm sorry, St. Catharines.
And Thorold.
And Thorold. Okay. Yeah, those communities tend to be, as community care, et cetera, joined together. Tell us why we're talking to you today. What can we do for you? What's going on?
Well, this summer has been really busy, and since the pandemic, obviously, we've been ramping up, and a lot of our volunteers are retiring now. A lot of people are getting sick, even more so during the pandemic. Yeah. And a lot of them are able to go on vacation now, which, for the last 2 years, people have been home. So a lot of volunteers are taking advantage of time away. So we are desperate for volunteers. Okay. And I think, for many years, most of our volunteers, we do not have a high turnover. So they've been with us for years, and we kind of, just accepted that. But now, they're in their late 70s, early 80s. And they're retiring from that as well. Yeah. They've already been retired for 40 years from work, and now
Meals on Wheels is one of those charities or initiatives that has almost, I think, become taken for granted because it's something that has been around us for decades, and we sort of go on every day and not thinking about what happens. So first of all, explain to us what Meals on Wheels is. Let's go back to the beginning.
Sure.
Talk to us about what Meals on Wheels is and how we can help, and what would be our responsibility if we wanted to help out.
So it is a program that is funded by the Ministry of Health. So it is a government program, but the government only covers the cost of the administrative costs. So we also have to do fundraising, and we get donations, which we're very grateful for, through the community. Okay. And what we do with our donations, like most Meals on Wheels, is we put it towards subsidizing the cost of the meals, or subsidizing people who can afford. Right. Now, the meals are already very affordable. They're usually made, now for St. Catharines, our food is made at Eymann Gage Village, hot and fresh every day, balanced by the dietitians there. But, we can take all the clients and get all the food, but we need people to deliver it. And so that's where, we have people taking their time, 2 hours, a day it takes to deliver the meals. We delivered 52,000 meals last year, just Thorold and St. Catharines alone.
Wow, 52,000.
Wow. Hot meals and frozen meals, yeah. So, we have about 20 people that go out per day to deliver the meals, and they each deliver, up to 12 to 15 people, sometimes a little less. It just depends on what area. St. Catharines is quite big, so we're delivering all the way out to West St. Catharines, like 3rd Street, over the bridge here, right down at Port Weller, that area.
Yeah.
And Thorold is the same thing. Thorold's growing like crazy. So we deliver all the way out to Port Robinson and now out to Merritt Road there, all those new subdivisions that they've put in. So it is a vast area. So, to make it, affordable for people.
Yeah.
Or for their time. It all has to be done at the same time. So
Bertha, on a daily basis, how many meals a day does Meals on Wheels St. Catharines Thorold deliver?
So for hot meals, we deliver about anywhere to 100 to 120, 130 a day.
And how many people does that take to deliver it?
About 20 people.
Okay, and these are volunteers.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
so but they're not enough. They're not enough. You need more volunteers.
Well, yes, because what's happening is, yes, those are enough people. That's the amount it would take.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of people that are quitting, like retiring.
Okay.
And people go away. So winter's coming. We have a number of them volunteers who are snowbirds.
Yeah.
And they were captive audience for a couple years, so we were lucky.
Right.
But now people are going to be going out, and the same happens in the summertime. We have a lot of cottagers, so people are helping us. But it's a volunteer job, so it's not something. We expect that they're going to be on and off, that sort of thing. It's just this year, it seems too, with COVID and the relaxing of restrictions, more people are getting sick as well, and we never really had to deal with that before.
Right.
Having to find replacements, spares.
So if I were going to be a volunteer for Meals on Wheels, I would say, okay, I kind of would like to help out, but I'm not sure what I would have to do. Walk us through a typical visit for a Meals on Wheels volunteer.
Sure. So they would show up at our food depot at Ina Grafton or at the Hotel du Shaver for Thorold around 5 to 11. And then they would get a big bag with all the hot meals and all the soups, which holds 12. And they would get another little bag that has all the desserts. So then they would also get a route sheet and a map, and off they go. And they have till 1 o'clock. So I know it doesn't take 2 hours for them to deliver. Like they would go to one house, take out the entree, the soup, and the dessert, deliver it to that person, and then they go to the next and the next. Now also, because we're part of the Ministry of Health, they also do a little wellness check for each client, because a lot of our clients are isolated or that sort of thing. So, they have a little chat with them. They kind of look to see, or are there any leftover meals, or is there any garbage?
Are that's what I was wondering. When they knock on the door, are they going to find out if the person's okay when they get there?
Exactly. Yeah, that is part of our mandate as well.
Okay.
And then they finish their route, and then they come back and bring the bags back to Ina Grafton, where we have a team leader who is also a volunteer, and they wash the bags. Another thing we never really had to do before, but because of COVID, we have to make sure everything's clean. So it's taking more time. They're just, it's not a lot of work. So I shouldn't say it's not a lot of work. It's not a lot of time. But I know we give 2 hours, but it only takes.
It is something that you need to be dedicated to, that you think is important to you.
Yeah. And that's why we don't usually have a high turnover of volunteers, because once our volunteers get out there and start meeting people, they become very attached. But a lot of times they're not driving for the whole 2 hours, obviously. So your route might only be, if you were to just drive the route, it might be like 15 minutes.
And it's on your is it on your own dime as far as gas and all that other stuff is concerned?
No, we do reimburse our volunteers. We give them a stipend. It's $8 for the route.
Okay.
So when you go out
That's good.
and do one route in the day, you'll get $8. And we usually do like a quarterly check, or the majority of our volunteers actually give it back and they want an income tax receipt at the end of the year.
Okay, that's great. So, I'm glad you shed some, because as I said, we've heard about Meals on Wheels forever, but most of us don't realize how the whole thing works, and you've helped us understand that. Bertha, if we want to help you, what's the easiest way for us to get in touch with you and throw our proverbial hat in the ring?
We prefer for people to just call our office. We're always we are maintaining contact through talking to people. Online, we don't really do it too much because
Okay,
too
how do
many
we
things
call
can
you?
get
How do we call you?
Oh, sorry, 905-682-0333.
682-0333.
Yes.
All right, you are awesome. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Bertha Power, Meals on Wheels, thank you for joining us today, and keep us informed as to how we can help you, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right,
Have a great day.
thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Kevin, big show today. A lot of stuff going on, and we're kind of past time. But Dave Burrows and Jessica Wilson, thanks for filling in over the last couple of weeks. Jessica James, mom of Layla Travers, God bless you. We hope and pray that we find traces of your girl. Maddi Leblanc from Poland, our paddleboard racer, keep us up to date. The Sea Cadets, Meliah and Caitrin, thank you so much for being here. You guys are awesome. Bertha Power from Meals on Wheels. Kevin Jack of WeeStream. I can't believe how much stuff we've gone through, and I know we've gone overtime. Coming up to play us off the stage, we have Holt and Eyes on 55.
Now, before we get to it, Lee, I asked you before the show. We never had to have the conversation, so I'll have it now. Do you know what Eyes on 55 refers to? It's only a Niagara statement.
I don't know what Eyes on 55 refers to.
Eyes on 55 refers to the old strip club, Private Eyes, that was on 55. The one that was right there under the bridge leading into Niagara
for
Lake.
heaven's sake.
Everybody called that place Eyes on 55. And this song's Eyes on 55. I don't know whether the video was shot actually in that building because it hasn't been a strip club for years. But anyway, Holt, their Niagara Falls band, and they got a song, Eyes on 55.
I haven't been here for 3 weeks. It's great to be back, and here is Holt with Eyes on 55. We'll see you next week, gang. Have a great weekend.
Like the way she moves across the dance floor. Shake those hips, you make me want more. Wears just what I like, knows just what I need. Black lace on a neon light, she's got me. She's dancing undercover, she's the devil in disguise. Lipstick and leather, I got eyes on 55. Get your credit card handy, Stacy Trixie Bell. episode 55.